Hi, this is Chuck Wolfe, and you're listening to WPKN 89.5 FM, listener-supported radio, and the show is the Emotion Roadmap. Take the wheel and control how you feel. If you understand the nature of the show is that you get to call in. You get to speak to me. Again, I'm Chuck Wolfe. I have some expertise, as those of you who listen regularly know, in this area called emotional intelligence, and it's brought me to my almost 13th year. I'm going to be moving into my 13th year in December, so I've been on the air for a while, so I'm really thankful for all of those of you that like to tune in and listen regularly. For those of you who are new to the show and just heard about me and wanted to listen, I'm on the first and second Wednesdays of each month from 12 to 1 p.m. And so if you got something going on where you're stuck and you'd like a little bit of help, and potentially you think what I just talked about might be helpful to you, then give me a call. Hi, this is Chuck. You're on the air. Could you please turn down your radio? And who am I talking to, please?
My name is Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Okay. I have a son who is about 22 and not feeling well emotionally.
Uh-huh.
And, I wish he would call in, but I'm trying to get him some help in terms of speaking to therapists. And he's over 18. He doesn't have to. He has to actually agree to it.
Sure.
So I'm in a situation where, there's a possibility of suicide.
Okay.
But I can't get him to agree to talk to anybody. So I'm in a tough situation. I don't want to provoke him because that, could present some violence.
Sure.
And, I just want to be able to tread a little carefully there. And thought that maybe, I don't know, I just happened to be listening to the radio and thought maybe you had some thoughts on that.
Well, let me ask you a couple things about it, Mike. First of all, if it's suicide, of course, that's extremely serious, and there's people with hotlines. And have you talked to people in that business at all to try to get some help?
I haven't personally, and neither has my son, but I guess I could call them too.
Well, I would suggest that because I'm gonna suggest some things to you along the lines of what I was just talking about. But at the same time, if there's some expertise in a particular area, the more you know. Because, obviously you're not the only person that's a parent that's dealt with this. And the people in that business have an enormous amount of experience that's helpful around that. And so I have some things that I'll say to you, but at the same time, I encourage you to make the call yourself just to see what they suggest that might be helpful. So that's just an easy one. The second thing I'd ask you is, and take you through the process that I just talked about. What is it about your son that makes you feel like he might feel suicidal or whatever depressed feelings that he's having? What causes you to think that?
Well, explicit statements.
He said to you that I'm thinking I might kill myself?
Oh, yeah.
So he's clearly identified this as an issue for himself. And how have you responded so far to him when he said that?
Well, he's not really willing to talk about it, so there hasn't been much discussion. I need to, try and figure out how I can prevent him from buying a gun. I think that's, I guess something I'll try and discuss with on one of the hotlines.
Yeah.
But other than that, trying to keep him engaged, and that's the real struggle. He's basically just wanting to hang out in his room all day long and have no interaction with me, my wife, or anybody else. And I think that's not healthy.
Right. No, it's terrible. It's clearly not healthy. Have you asked him, and this is where we go with the roadmap, have you asked him, how do you want to feel?
No. We really haven't had any opportunity to discuss. He's not willing to engage.
Okay, so he won't even talk to you about it. So he's just pretty much shut down. And so so how he's feeling is extremely depressed. That's clear. You're feeling, I'm guessing, just listening to you, very anxious and probably depressed as well. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm concerned.
Yeah, and concerned. Okay. And so when you think about the roadmap, the idea is, how do you want somebody to feel? So you want your son to feel engaged. and open to wanting to live a full life, right? I mean, that's sort of
Yeah.
what you're looking for.
I want him to have some friends. I want him to get out, do stuff, feel a little bit less pressure.
Okay. And you want to feel confident that you've got a plan or a strategy that's going to be helpful around these things, right?
Well, I think that's the number one thing, is to at least get him some help.
Okay. So the question I have at this point is, has he, and this is part of what I'm trying to teach people, has he ever been this way before and come out of it? Or is this the first time you're experiencing this?
He has been, not to this extent, but he has. Yeah, this has been something. I think really since puberty, adolescence, he's kind of disengaged a little bit. I mean, I have to give him a lot of credit. He's fought through it. He's got a high school degree. He's got a college degree. So it hasn't been easy, though. It definitely has not been easy to get where he is.
How old did you say he was?
He's gonna be 23.
Okay.
And so he's now living at home.
So when he had things that were something that engaged him, whether it was high school or college, he was out doing those things, and he fought through it, and he had some success. And then when that was over, he never got engaged in anything at the next level?
Yeah, no, he doesn't have a job. I think that's part of it. I've suggested that, look, he can, for the time being, there's plenty of employment opportunities, whether it's Starbucks or whatever. It's better to be out there doing something than nothing. But that hasn't resonated with him.
Right. So I guess one of the things that that I looked at when I asked you that question, when I look at in terms of the process, how it works, Mike, is that if he's ever had some success in pulling himself out of these deep dives into depression, is there a way to build on that somehow? Now, I'm guessing there's not in your mind, but that's one of the things.
No, I think
Go ahead.
That's a very good point.
Okay.
I think that he's had a very good success in athletics. I think he has not had as much success socially, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have friends and he hasn't had a good time, because I'm sure he has. But it's just a matter of getting him to listen to myself or my wife, and that's just something he's not willing to do right now.
Now, does he have friends that still reach out to him?
I guess that yes, yeah, definitely. But he's not willing to really put himself out there right now, and he's not willing to do anything like that. He avoids all interaction with us in the house. He sleeps all day and he's up all night.
What's he doing when he's up? Do you know?
I know he was finishing one last class for college.
Yeah.
And at this point, he says he's trying to find a job, but I don't know.
Okay, so a couple things that you might consider. So you've told me that he was good in athletics. He, obviously was able to get things done academically. So he's had some things there. He's got some friends. Some of what you might consider that might help pull him back is a conversation. If you know any of his friends well enough to call him and speak to him and see if they can get them to engage him and pull him out, because it might be easier for him to talk with them than with you.
Yep, I agree. His brother, but he hasn't really even wanted to engage with his brother at the moment. We're hoping that will change this weekend if they can get together. But that's definitely a good idea.
So a couple things. So one is maybe friends, maybe invite him to go see, if he was involved with athletics, maybe there are teams that are going to stop playing again with school starting back up, that are teams he was on or involved with, and maybe asking if he wants to go to a game with you or something like that. I mean, just something to get him out of the house.
I know. At this time,
yeah.
I don't think that would be something he would want to do. Certainly wouldn't want to do with me.
Okay. Maybe with his brother. if his brother can get him to do it. But, the idea of trying to engage him is part of it. I mean, one thing, this is something I learned a long time ago, Mike, and I think it's useful to share here. When I was learning a little bit about Gestalt psychology, there was this famous saying that was Fritz Perls was the creator of this psychology called Gestalt, and he said, when you're dealing with someone who says, I'm thinking of committing suicide, then you want to ask them, well, why haven't you? Now, I'm not going to tell you that you should do that. You should talk to the suicide people about this, of course. But the reason I say that, and I think it's an important idea to keep in mind that, hey, while he's talking about it, he's still not willing to do it. Because when you're willing to do it, you do it. Mm-hmm. And so there's some hope there that he's fighting to not have that happen. There's a piece of him that's fighting to stay alive and to try and come back from this. Now, there's no easy trick to make this work. But if you've seen some things in the past that have worked for him, where he's been engaged, as you mentioned, he's had some friends, he's been involved with athletics, so he's not a complete social isolate. He is right now, because he's just in this funk for whatever reason.
Yes.
And the question is, how engaged should you be? If he's turning you away, I think the thing that you want to do with him is not pressure him like you're saying you're not already. But I think you always want to go in every day just to see how you're doing. Feel like talking? Want to go out for a walk? Want to do something together? And just offer it up. And no, okay. See you. Hope you're okay the rest of the day. Let me know if you change your mind, and I'm going to keep coming in every day, because I think the important thing for you is to show up and feel like you're there when he's ready for you to be supportive. You're going to be supportive, and that's the best you can do, in my mind, at this point.
Yeah, I think that's great. That's actually what I want to do, is just make sure that, knock on the door, hello, everything okay? Do you need anything? I hear answers, and that's all I can do. I mean, I try and come in and talk, and he goes, you're not invited in. And so, I don't want to provoke him, because we've been through that, and that's not helpful either.
Yeah, but I would add, not every day the same thing, but okay, hey, I'm here. I just want you to know I'm here. If you'd like to go for a walk, if you want to talk, if you feel like doing something, some kind of activity, I'd love to do something with you. I just want you to know I'm here for you. I realize I'm not invited, but every day I'm going to keep coming back and letting you know that.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
does that sound helpful?
Yeah, I think that is probably the best thing. But I think the other piece is getting his brother involved, and getting him out of the house for some type of events. Just to try and just stretch his legs and feel like I can do this, because I think he's kind of feeling like he doesn't want to do anything with anybody. He doesn't want to see friends, cousins. It's just kind of like one of those situations that is a difficult, situation for a parent.
Oh, absolutely, Mike. Yeah, and I mean, if you picture what's in his head, it's like he's fighting with himself. Right now, the fight is inside himself. But I think if you talk to his brother too, if his brother knows a particular friend that might be able to reach and break through this stuff. I mean, and even if you don't break through, the more people, cousins, friends, anybody who, you got regular people calling and just reaching out to them, it helps to keep the flame alive.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. That's good advice.
Okay, well, obviously, I wish you the best with this, and I think, like I said, call that line. They'll have some more specific information, and maybe some routines that are more specific that you can engage in. But I think you want to keep in mind how he's feeling, and you want him to feel engaged, and mostly you want him to feel supported. And I didn't say this, but you want him to feel loved and cared about.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. And
so even if he tells you, I don't want you there, I don't want you saying those things to me, I don't care. I'm going to keep coming and telling you that.
Yeah. Okay. All
Okay.
Right, great.
Okay.
I really appreciate it.
You bet. Take care, Mike.
Thanks. Yep.
Bye-bye. Hi. So, I mean, that's the idea. I mean, nothing's perfect, but if I can give you some tools and some help, then it's going to make it better. And, at least you're doing what you can to help to change somebody else. And if you let that person know, in this case, that he's loved and supported and cared about, even when he keeps pushing in your way, because you're not going to allow yourself to be pushed away and get pissed off because he won't respond, because that's probably the worst thing that can happen. But if you just keep coming back and he realizes, hey, somebody out there loves me and cares about me, and damn it, I want to get back in the game. That's what you hope happens. I know somebody else had called, and I'm here at the station by myself. So if you want to call back again, I can't. By the way, just so you know, if I'm talking to somebody, I won't be able to pick up the other line. But the number is 203-336-9756. And that's it for me. I'm signing off. Have a good week. I'll be back in touch with you next time. Bye-bye.